Hey everybody, it is December 30th, 2025, and I know I do mostly metal, but this channel is really everything I like. So while I do live in heavy metal, 70s and 80s rock is still a big part of my life. And this band, Journey, you know what? You can 80% of the metalheads that say they can't stand Journey are liars. Everyone loves Journey. So I guess a few people can't stand them, but so I'm doing this one, and I'm doing Raised on Radio, which is usually seen as one of the definitely not a flop. It sold like 3 million albums or something crazy like that. Um, but the weak point when Journey goes out the door, I disagree with that wholeheartedly. I love this album. I absolutely love this album. Listen to this album more than I do Escape and Frontiers. Now, Infinity is my favorite Journey album. I think that album's the Greg Raleigh, Steve Perry era. Nothing can touch. Absolutely nothing can touch Infinity, Departure, and Evolution. Nothing can touch those three albums. But still, they're great albums, and I don't. It's come out recently with Greg Raleigh playing with Journey a year or two ago. And it's kind of come out because Greg had always said, "Oh, I left because I wanted to, spend time with my family," which I'm sure that was true to an extent. But it's come out that Steve Perry, he was, Ainsley Dunbar was Steve Perry's first, um, heave ho, and that Greg Raleigh, who started the band with Neil and Ross, he was kind of pushed out by Steve Perry at that point in time too. So very, very interesting to see as things progress. I have a feeling we're going to hear more about this. But at any rate, I love this album. I absolutely love this album. I think there are some deep tracks on this album that are people don't even know about and you should listen to because they are unbelievably awesome. Um, However, this album, what I don't like about this album is the controversy and all the BS that Steve Perry, Sean, I'm never going to say his name right, and Jonathan Cain pulled in doing this. So here it is, Raised on Radio. And here are the three heroes of Journey. What a joke. God, it's hilarious because Neil and Jonathan absolutely cannot stand each other. Thought that was going to be the end of Journey, but they're, I guess Neil's wife had been using the American Express Black Card too much, so they were suing. It's what they had a lawsuit over. So they have to do another tour. Little bit too much money was spent, so they're touring yet again. I guess that's it, but who knows? Any rate. So this album, while I think it is great, what leads up to this album is diabolical. Produced by Steve Perry. I forgot. I'm just looking at that right now. At this point, Steve Perry has complete control over the band. Absolutely, he is complete control over the band. I think I said this in my old channel when I did a Journey review, or maybe I ranked the albums. I worked with a guy who, all right, I know there's going to be a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy. I worked with a guy who had a friend who's a producer in Hollywood. Not going to say his name or anything like that. Who was friends with Steve Perry. Now, I believe this because I do know the guy, the producer, is friends with the guy I used to work with. And he told the guy I worked with that Steve Perry is just, now again, don't know this firsthand. This is story of story. Steve Perry's just nuts. Just absolutely, according to this guy, Steve Perry is just a head case. And I don't think that's a big surprise because you can see interviews with Steve Perry and whatnot, hear stories about Steve Perry. and it doesn't. That's pretty much what you get. But I'm I am recording.
Can I come in?
Yeah, are you decent?
Yeah.
No.
I just need to put my towel away.
Oh, okay. Um. Hi. Bye. But Steve Perry absolutely is running the band at this point in time, and I have no. I don't know. I shouldn't say I know. I firmly believe Steve Perry and actually Neil and Jonathan knew this was the last album, at least for a while. I don't know if Neil and Jonathan knew that this was the end of it. I think Steve did. And I think that's why Ross Valerie and Steve Smith were fired. Because those other three, in my opinion, were so greedy that they said, let's fire the two least important members of the band, and we won't have to split performance royalties 5 ways. We'll only have to split them 3 ways. We'll pull 2 guys in. One of them was Randy Jackson, who I believe is with him again now. Has been with him again since Ross Valerie quit again. Or got fired. No, I think he quit this second time around. And they'll just be, paid studio musicians, and we can split the performance royalties. Now, music-wise, as far as writing, Ross Valerie, I think, wrote a few things here and there. I don't think Steve Smith ever wrote anything. So it wasn't like publishing was a big deal, but performance royalties, it's money. It's money. And I think Steve Perry saying, you know what? This is my last. Everybody doesn't know this. This is my last tour with Journey. This is my last ride with Journey. I'm done with Journey. I want as much money out of it as possible. Jonathan and Neil, knowing that this was going to be it for a while, probably said, yeah, we need as much money as possible. Let's get as much of the performance royalties as we can. So I think absolutely nothing but greed fueled this diabolical plan to get rid of Ross Valerie, who had been there from day one. But Steve Perry never cared. Got rid of Ainsley Dunbar. I don't know, man. I think we're going to hear some more stories about Greg Raleigh leaving that are going to be pointing fingers at Steve Perry. And Ross Valerie, to Steve Perry was nothing. So we get this semi-Journey album. But again, I mean, as much as I think that what happened behind the scenes was garbage and was absolutely nothing short of diabolical, they still produce a great album. Now, this is also a funny album because I listened to this one again. Actually, no, at the time I was listening to this album the most, even over Infinity and whatnot. It was my 20s and whatnot. So, this album, and it's all love songs pretty much and whatnot, with a couple exceptions. So one of the when I play this album, man, there's certain songs that remind me of an ex-girlfriend I was with for a long time, and a song that makes me think of another girl from college, and another song that makes me think of a girl. Oh, yes, from high school. So yeah, from high school, this was kind of my go-to record for probably about 10 years or so. So, yeah, these love songs, maybe that's why I like this one so much. And none of that ever ended. None of those relationships ever, or what, not actually, not all relationships, but whatever, ever, nothing went for the long haul. So, theoretically, I guess should hate this album, but no, I don't. All right, let's go through the ranking here, and maybe we'll talk a little bit more about this album. So the first one, it starts off with The Girl Can't Help It, solid 5. I mean, this is just Journey at its absolute peak. Hit writing, the whole formula from Escape and Frontiers is there. I mean, again, it's phenomenal. The next one is the weakest song off this album to me, Positive Touch. This could have been a B-side. There's 11 songs on this album. This one could have been a B-side. Doesn't do much for me. It's a 3, though. It's not bad. But I don't skip over it. The next one is one of those hidden gems. And this was a single, but it didn't really go too far. Suzanne. There's actually now I did work with a girl named Susie, um, that I really didn't have a thing for, but we used to hang out all the time. So I always think of Susie when I hear that song. So yeah, there's another girl. um, but Suzanne is a 5. Suzanne is a great song. It was a single. I think it was the last single. And at that time, this album may have run its course, but I think Suzanne's a great song. The next one is "Be Good to Yourself," 5. Absolutely, this was a single, big hit. Absolutely love it. Next one is, let me see if I got this right. Hang on. Wait. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, "I Want You Love Somebody" is the next one. Great song, but it's a 4. It's not a 5, not a perfect song. It's a really, really good song. It's a heartbreaking, romantic, typical Steve Perry love song. It is a great 4. Next one, man. Yeah, this was a girl song. "Happy to Give." This is a big hidden gem on this album. This is a 5. I think "Happy to Give" is one of the best Journey songs of all time. I'll say it. I don't care whether you agree with me or not. "Happy to Give" is an absolute super solid 5. The next one is "Raised on Radio." It's good. It's a 4. It's fast paced and whatnot. Next one was a big hit, "I'll Be All Right Without You," and it should have been. It's a 5. Absolutely phenomenal. Next one is a girl girl song. "It Could Have Been You," 5. Another hidden gem. Absolutely, again, I think one of Journey's best songs as well. "Could Have Been You" is phenomenal. I absolutely, absolutely love that song. Next one is "The Eyes of a Woman." Good song. Again, Steve Perry, the emotion and the heartbreak and it's a 4. Great song, but it is a 4. And then, another one from the old memory banks. What number last? So "The Eyes of a Woman" is a 4. Last one is "Why Can't This Night Go On Forever," and that's a 5. Absolutely beautiful song. Another hidden gem on this one. I mean, it's just, if you want Journey love songs, this is the album to go to, without a doubt. Add them all up, and they are 4.5. This album is a 5. I don't care what you say. I stand by that wholeheartedly, that this album is a 5. I will take this over Escape. I will take this over Infinity. Infinity, yes. I always have to think before I say Infinity or Evolution, because they're both bluish covers and they're both like weird. I don't know. Over Escape and Jesus, Escape and dude, not Infinity. I'm losing my mind here. Hang on. I'm serious. Frontiers. Jesus. I've been saying it wrong the whole video. I will take this album over Frontiers and Escape. Infinity, phenomenal. My favorite album, Infinity. Evolution, phenomenal. Departure, phenomenal. All right, there. Frontiers is the one that I will take. I will take this over Frontiers and Escape. So people have been watching. You guys have been watching this video going, "What is this fat idiot talking about?" There we go. And then of course, Journey goes into hiatus. Steve Perry releases later on "For the Love of Strange Medicine," which is not a bad album. It's not great, but it's not horrendous. They do get back for "Trial by Fire," but then Steve Perry won't tour, and then he quits again. Then they have a bunch of other singers before they end up with Arnel Pineda, who's phenomenal. And man, what a class act. Arnel is just an absolute class act. All this BS that's going on between Jonathan Cain and Neil Schon, and Arnel flat out said, "I don't need to deal with this. I can quit." And he didn't say it, but he meant to say, he was saying, "I have enough money. I've made enough money. I was living on a park bench. I don't need 52 mansions. I can live in a regular house and go to the store and go." Arnell could live like a normal human being. I got it. I can live like a normal person for the rest of my life. I don't need to deal with these two. Arnell has just always been a class act. Always been so respectful to Steve Perry and the legacy of Journey. I love that guy. Absolutely love him. But definitely, you have not heard this album. If this is the one because it's not Frontiers or Escape, you need to listen to this album. I know a lot of people are going, you're nuts, fat guy. No, that album sucks. Blah blah blah. It's great. I've always loved it. All right, well, let me know what you think and like, subscribe, and all that, and I will see you.